I'd rather take a day off than have a light session. Active recovery is useless. There's no point in doing that. I've heard a lot of these comments over the last sort of year, 2 years that I've been doing this. People often say there's not a lot of research to say that active recovery means anything. There's a lot of people say that light sessions, like super light sessions, basically don't mean anything. You might as well go and kind of sleep it off and have a day off and things of that nature. I find those, comments interesting. I find those opinions interesting. Obviously, everyone's entitled to them. But for my time doing this for this long, I definitely feel there's a difference between, time off and light sessions. I wasn't born doing this squat every day. The majority of my training has been spent doing the normal stuff that a lot of people do, right? It was only in the last sort of almost 2 years now that I've been doing squat every day. But before that, the majority of my time was spent doing exactly what everyone else was doing. Squatting once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, doing the splits, doing all sorts of stuff. I find it interesting when I hear this stuff, because I remember how it felt to have 3-4 days off, or whatever the case might be, extended period of time off. I remember how it feels to have a deload. I come back and you kind of feel sluggish. I never came back from a deload and the first thing I touch is a PR. That's never happened to me. What's even more interesting to me is that when you look at other sports, other disciplines in sports, how they go about things, it's really, really interesting. So these marathon runners, Kipchoge, I remember during the Olympics, I was really intrigued to see him run. I was really intrigued to kind of watch a couple of documentaries, a bunch of videos of him talking about his philosophy of training, how he approaches. And he basically says that something like 80 or 90% of his running training is spent running very lightly. He doesn't push. So he has all these different kind of, areas that he runs. He's got this distance that he wants to run every day, but the time that he covers that distance varies greatly. So the majority of that time he's spent, he's just basically running through the just pacing himself, just basically not pushing hard at all, just running for the fun of it. And then 10 or 20% of it is he's actually pushing hard. So the majority of his days are spent training very, very lightly. And so when you think about that and you think about what we do under the barbell, why does it change? Why does it change so every time we have to come in, we have to bust our balls. We can't have a light session. We can't have an active recovery session. Kipchoge talked about just running for the sake of running, just for the sake of circulation. He was talking about running before the marathon, I've also heard cyclists do this. It's kind of like a pre-competition cycle, or the night before, the day, or something like this, where they kind of go for a ride to wake up their body. So this kind of is consistent with my experience with deloads. I would have a deload and I'll come back and I'm like, what the hell is this? It's almost my body's forgotten how to take these positions, and I feel awkward. And so I'm guessing this is why Kipchoge and the cyclists, all these people kind of have these icebreaker kind of sessions, or moments where they kind of reintegrate their body into the stuff that they want to do. I've read a bunch of things about this, how having completely shaved off all fatigue is not actually good for PR setting, for personal best times and all this sort of stuff. You need to have some sort of residual fatigue to have best performance. So athletes that have completely no fatigue at all, apparently they don't do as well. I can't remember where I read this, but it was something along those lines. So there's something to it. There's something to these lighter days. I mean, this morning I've come in and all I was thinking is just take it easy, man. Have fun with this. And it was fun. It was a fun session, man. I came in, I did some leg raises, I did some crunches. Then I loaded up the bar. You see it's all a one take, and I ran through it. I didn't have any expectations in my mind that I wanted to hit a number or anything like this. I was just like, let's just come in here and be a kid running around. And it's just a fun thing when you don't have expectations. When you're like, okay, I have to hit this. The reason why it's fun is because there is no anxiety about doing something that you're not ready for. I think a lot of the fun kind of disappears is when we kind of walk into the session, you're like, man, I don't feel it today. But then your brain's saying we have to hit these numbers. All of a sudden, it's an anxious thing. You're worried. You're gonna work hard. You're probably gonna hurt yourself. All these type of emotions start coming up. But if you come in and you just have fun with it, be the 80% of Chipogi's sessions. Come in, just have fun, move some weight around, do what you love to do, act like you've just started training. And I think those are the moments that are kind of really cool. So I think even with me now with squat every day, I think when I look back at my numbers, I think I've spent a lot of time pushing really hard, like testing things too hard. I think these sessions, and it seems to happen like every time I work, these 4:30 sessions, I kind of have lighter sessions and I feel good. I feel good because I've woken up really early in the morning. I feel there's a coolness about that. And then there's a cool factor about coming in and doing stuff, right? I'm not expecting to hit 200. I'm not, just being. I think it's a really, really cool feeling to do that. And I think a lot of us forget to have these type of sessions. So even though, you might be squatting 3 times a week, I would encourage you to squat 5 times a week. And those other 2 sessions, just come in and just freaking, like, no expectations at all. Just come in and just have fun. And it really is fun. When you're coming in and you think to yourself, I got to do 5x5 at 80 or 85%, it's fun, but there's an anxiety component because it's going to be hell uncomfortable. Anyway, that's kind of what I did this morning. I just kind of had fun with it, and I feel good right now. Like, I kind of feel woken up, refreshed, and I'm glad I did this, basically. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.